Alright, well, it is a wet and soggy New Year's Day, but we are going to go out into the desert anyway and do some exploring. Of course, stop at Maverick, our adventure's first stop, for some gasoline and some snacks, a little bit of breakfast. We're going to hit the road and hope that this weather clears up. But regardless, we're going to have fun, so let's hit the road and go explore. Alright, so the goal for the day will be to try and hit all of these spots that we've got mapped out here. We're going to head down I-15, get off the first exit to Holden, then we will go westbound through the desert until we get to the Levant Butte, which is a volcano. That's where we're going to stop at the Lace Curtain, and then we're going to go see Hood's wind generator ruins, which I've heard about forever, and we've always talked about going down there, so we're going to do that today. Hopefully, from what the weather forecast was showing me at the gas station, I think we're going to have this rain tapering off here in the next couple hours, so hopefully this is just enough to keep the dust down and not create impassable roads. We will see. I would prefer not to have to break out the recovery gear today, but we'll see how it goes. And then we'll move on to Delta and work our way back towards Nephi and stop at a couple of the options when we get over to the other main highway. So we'll play it from here, but for now we'll go to Holden and get off the freeway. We're making a right-hand turn onto Highway 50. It was at about this point we realized we were not going to stay very clean. Well, it was a muddy ride to get in here, as you can tell here by the hood and on the top, but not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be, with the amount of clouds that we got up here. But I think I got the worst of it. I mean, my brother got a little bit, but look at this. Terry's right behind me. He's got hardly anything on. I think I was collecting everything. And this one still looks like it came off the showroom floor almost. Oh well. We are at our first stop. This is the Lace Curtain. When Levant Butte exploded, in its form 15,000 years ago, the lava was coming out, and this is underwater with Lake Bonneville, so as the lava was cooling, it kind of was oozing down the wall and created what we see here today. And then of course as the lake recedes and pulls everything else out of it, this is what remains. And I believe, I don't know if it's all the time, certain times of year or what, but it's pretty common to see bird nests and stuff in there, which I mean, yeah, it's kind of cool. You want to build a house here, I guess, for your bird. But anyway, let's check this thing out. It's kind of cool. Jeremy's got his drone out. Well, anyway, now that we've got to see the way awesome lace curtain, we're actually going to drive around this volcano and head over to another kind of more quirky feature out here in the desert. So let's saddle up and go check that out. Yes, of course, I had to clean some of these dirt clods off. They weren't actually sticking to the hood. They were just sitting there loose, and it was driving me crazy. So I did have to do a little bit of cleanup before we took off. So in 1922-23, a guy named A.H. Hood, what do they call that nowadays? I guess a green energy proponent back in the day. I guess he would be an early form of one anyway. Decided he wanted to build a wind generator out here in the middle of nowhere. So he convinced some investors to give him money to build this thing, and unfortunately he went bankrupt and ended up going to jail for mail fraud, and the project was abandoned. So we will see a set of 40 obelisks and a building that remains from his little project. It was intended to be a single windmill that would actually rotate on a curved track, which I believe is why those obelisks are in a complete round circle, all of them at the same elevation, from about 2 feet tall to 14 feet tall on the taller ones. And you should be able to see it now on top of this little knoll. Hey, we made it to the top, and guess what? My guy might have had a point. It's windy up here. But what a view up here. It is gorgeous. So if nothing else, it's worth driving up here just for that. I will say, I think if it had still been raining, I might not have made that climb up here. It's pretty steep. Might have caused some problems. Sorry if I'm getting some wind in the microphone. I'll just shut up, but we'll do the voiceovers instead, so you don't have to listen to the wind noises. All right, so I'm inside the structure that's up here. This is Hood's wind generator. So back in 1923,
This guy, A.H. Hood, he was all about renewable energy, being good for the environment, clear back in 1923. So conservation has been around a long time. He was probably a pioneer back then as far as conservation goes. But he had this idea. He wanted to build a wind turbine out here on top of this butte. And again, from the example just a minute ago, the wind is blowing up here, which is pretty good. You got a heck of a view. It's beautiful out here. But anyway, he had this idea. He got some investors. They started the project. They got this structure done, and they got 40 obelisks built out here, all from different sizes, from like 2 feet all the way up to 14 feet. And the idea was to have a single turbine on a rail that would move around and take advantage of the wind no matter which way it was coming. Unfortunately for Mr. Hood, I guess he wasn't the greatest guy, and the legend says he went to jail for mail fraud, and this particular project went bankrupt and was abandoned. And here it still sits 102 years later. It is kind of a decent climb. I probably would not have come up here if it was still raining. This volcanic dirt is pretty soft, but we made it just fine. But I did see a video the other day looking at this, of somebody driving their vehicle over the top of this. I wouldn't recommend that. That's just dumb. I mean, this stuff, it's been here a while. And you just don't know the structural integrity of old concrete. So don't do that. But do come out and check this out. This is such a cool little spot. An interesting little history out here in Millard County, Utah. So, yeah, if you're ever out this way, take advantage of it. Come check it out. So we are not quite done with volcanoes. We're going to go to another spot here in just a minute. Sunstone Knoll, and there you can actually find sunstones and do a little bit of rock hounding. Misty really enjoys that kind of thing, so we're going to give her the opportunity to find some sunstones, and hopefully the sun will come out just enough. The rain stopped, the storm's kind of moved on. If we can get a little bit of sunshine, they'll be easier to see because they glint yellow in the sunlight and they're a lot easier to find. So we'll see how that goes. But before we go, I should probably go check out the other side of this volcano. All right, so behind me is the Pavant Butte. We're still on part of it. If you can imagine, just kind of a half blown up volcano, if you will. It's humped up on this side, and it comes around towards the southeast in kind of a half moon shape. And that is the caldera behind me, if you will. I'm going to call it that. All you volcano and geologist guys can tell me I'm wrong, but I'm going to call it that. This is where it blew out. It lifted up, and right over my shoulder here, that was where the lace curtain is, over on the west side of it. So we drove around the butte to get over here, more on the southeast corner of it, to get to Hood's windmill generator. But you can see a long ways from here. Highway 50 takes you out into the desert that way. Great Basin National Park, Nevada, all that direction. But yeah, this is a heck of a view. Turned out to be a really nice day. So got a little bit of history, got a little bit of geology in here. It's a great day for a nerd like myself. So on to the next. Sometimes you get on these adventures and you come across things that you didn't see when you were actually doing the research for the trip. And that's exactly what happened here for this little old town site. There are ghost towns all throughout the state of Utah and the western states, and it's cool to see these markers that tell us about them. Otherwise, they would just be lost to history. Train wreck in this spot, coming into the station behind me. And after that quick stop, it was on to Sunstone Knoll, which was just about a mile away from the town site. Well, the wind has picked up. We've just arrived at Sunset Knoll. Hoping we can find a little spot somewhere up here to have a break for lunch. But we'll spend some time here looking for some of these sunstones. So let's take a look at what we got, and hopefully we can find a less windy spot to have lunch. All right, so we have made it to Sunstone Knoll. It's just off of the main highway. They're kind of cool. They're just a little yellow crystal. Some are clearer than others, but they form naturally during an eruption. This knoll is actually a vent to the volcanoes. They think this vent was created about 1.6 million years ago. But if you get out here, and we got really lucky with how the day started, how it was raining and cloudy. Right now the sun obviously is out, and you can just see them glinting in the sun. So they're really easy to find on the surface. They're smaller ones. But if you're looking for a rock counting thing, maybe you want to get your kids into or something like that, this is a good spot, because I found one just getting right out of the Bronco. I think I see one. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but I see a glint. And yep, sure enough, guy right there. That's what we're looking for. It's a sunstone. It's a good place where you're guaranteed to find something. So, kind of like fishing, you know, get somebody interested in it. You hope they catch something on their first try. This is a good spot for that. So we're gonna hang around here, have some lunch. Unfortunately, the wind is blowing, but we'll manage. I may not get Misty back in the car. She's got her a shovel, and she's kind of sifting for some bigger ones, she hopes. So we'll spend some time here, have lunch, and have a good little time, and then we'll move on. So we'll catch up with you a little bit. 30 seconds later, found another one. Kind of cool. They're not very big, but this is the stuff on the surface, so I don't know. I don't know if you keep digging, you find bigger ones or not, but I don't know. It'll keep us occupied for a bit. There's one. There's a good sized one right there, too. There's a little one. With this guy, that one is the largest one I found. So here's my haul. Gotta be done sooner. Shiny. Got to be done sooner or later. I mean, I don't even know what I'm going to do with all these things. But it was fun. Good little recreation at lunchtime. A little exercise from sitting in the car for hours and hours driving around. Well, after we filled our pockets with sunstones, it was time to head on out. We had 2 more stops before we finished this loop and headed back into Nephi. So it was on to the next, which was Fort Deseret. All right, so we are completed with the off-road portion of the day, and we've got 2 more historical sites on our way back to Nephi, where we started this morning. So we're at Fort Deseret right now, just south of Delta. It's an old Church of Latter-day Saints fort, the remnants of it. So we'll walk around and check that out, and then we'll move on from there. So let's go check out this fort and see what's left of it. Now, unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot left of this fort other than these adobe walls, but it still tells a story where this fort was built by Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints settlers after a dispute with the Native Americans over some stolen horses. They kind of spent 2 years fighting one another, and this fort was built to kind of protect the settlers from Native American attacks. So it's just kind of a remnant of days past, if you will. We only spent a few minutes here, and then it was time to go to our last stop. All right, so we are on our last stop of the day. Behind me are 2 Pioneer era charcoal kilns. They're literally right off the main highway here in a little town called Leamington, or just outside of it. There's a ton of these things scattered throughout Utah, and I've always wanted to check them out. So I found these kind of by accident doing the mapping for this trip. So I was really excited to see them. So let's go check them out. Enough talking, let's go look.
This is where the pioneers made Coke?
Yeah.
Yeah, pioneers made Coke. And your
That's
dad,
because they didn't have rock stars back then.
and your dad was in on it.
Oh. It's
Yeah, I can't read it.
hardly good.
Stop it.
You wanted to read it better.
I'm trying to. You had to stand at the side. Can't
These
say
are
anything
the
about.
Morrison charcoal ovens
Yeah.
from 1882.
Do you read anything about the pioneers doing it?
Never been to one.
I think they were smaller.
Pretty crazy.
These are cool.
Uh-oh, you.
And I know that.
Whoa. This one might not survive another winter. Look at those bricks falling out of there. I don't even talk too loud. Wow.
No, you can't tell.
Even in,
These are
there's too much sunlight, but
I know.
these bricks right up here, they might not survive another winter because those are coming in. They've slid in about 4 or 5 inches. It wouldn't surprise me if next year this didn't exist. It's probably going to be in here on the floor.
How did what? I hate it because they sleep with that. What did they do?
So they would pile stacks of wood in here, and then they would light them on fire. And as it burns up, it creates charcoal. So the tops would be completely blocked off, but there's air holes through this door and down here down low, and they would control the temperature that way. And they could tell by the smoke on what the temperature was or what stage they were at, and then they would sell the charcoal later.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm surprised that there isn't more black. Like this has got to be just completely black.
Yeah.
It is down low, but not so much up higher.
My dad said there's some kilns in Beaver.
Oh, I think there is.
We got them everywhere.
Yes, there are a lot of kilns scattered throughout central Utah that I would love to go explore. And all of them hopefully are in as good a shape as these ones are. Now it's probably washed away. You can see where it was down low. It's just the same thing as the other one. Yeah, I can't wait to go to Frisco. It might be the trip for this year.
Frisco, where?
Frisco, Utah. There's a hand, like 7 or 8 of these out there that way in the old ghost town.
Really interesting.
Cool stuff. Old historic stuff scattered throughout the state, probably in your own state. So all you got to do is get on that's one good thing that the internet can be used for, is finding stuff that you just don't know, that you would never know it was there unless you drove by, and you more than likely you just drive by it and not even pay attention to it. So like these kind of things probably won't exist much longer. It's amazing they've stood up this long, but you can just see the weathering in them. One of these days they're just going to collapse in, but we'll enjoy them while we have them. They're really cool. Anyway, this has been a really great trip. I've been having a lot of fun. I'm glad that the weather turned out for us. Looks like we might get a little bit of rain on the way home, but that's perfect. We're done. We're off the dirt roads and on the main roads. Maybe we'll get some of this mud washed off, but it's been a great time, and we'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go check out our website at routetoadventure.com, and we'll see you in the next video. Happy New Year, everybody.